Wrong. Okay, I think it's better now. I don't know what was wrong with my. Yeah, I don't know what was wrong with my network before. But yeah, so welcome to today's session. And today we're kicking off straight up. We're still on the CSS class. Um, so I'm moving straight up and start teaching the CSS class. So like I said, I'm still going to be introducing you to CSS and all CSS is about, what CSS is. Right, we've done some of the basic stuff. Now we head to the main thing. We're already working on we're already working with free code camp as I've explained before. So now the goal of today's class is to go from lesson 12 to 50 probably. Yeah, so I'll just dive right in. So this is what we've done so far. So this is the content we're following, Lean Basic CSS by building a cafe menu. So we're trying to build the cafe menu. And now let's continue with lesson 12. So lesson 12 and here. So if you are a bit lost or confused, please go back to our last video and you see what we did. So now we'll go straight and continue from here. So now I've done what they said we should do here, right? So they said in the previous you use the type selector H1 blah blah blah. Now they said that you should put H1, H2, and P, H2 and P together, right? So check your code. Sorry, said if you used a type selector to style the H1 element, center the center the H2 and P elements by adding a new type selector for each one of them. I think they still okay. I think I've passed here before. I think I've passed here before. Well, that's no problem. Just wanted to do this. As simple as this. Right. Yeah, so we know we have H1, P, and H2. So this is a type selector. Type selector is when you choose the element and you put the contents in your design inside. So that's type selecting, right? And there are different elements or tags in HTML. You know, the tag, the HTML, um, you know, uh, the like there's the there's a div, there's the span, that's so when you edit, like when you use them as a selector to put your attributes or your properties here. So that's what you're doing, type selecting. That's what they call a new type selector. So create a new type selector H2 and P. I'll give them an attribute text, give a text align, a property text align, with this center. So centered it and you can see the results all here. Yeah, so if you come here now, you see the results here, right? So you see the results here in Campa Cafe. As you can see, this is the results and this is how it's looking. So now we'll still so now yeah, let's go and continue what we're doing. So um submit and go to the next challenge. So let's challenge 13. I said you will now have three types of selector, which are exactly the same. You can add the same group of styles to many select elements by creating a list of selectors. Each selector is everything with the comma. So now, if you notice what we have here, we have, okay, I've already done this before, I knew it. But yeah, so we have H1, H2, and P the way it was before, right? All the same content, right? They all have text alignment. So the first rule of programming is to make sure that you don't repeat yourself, right? And when you're developing, it's still the same thing. So H1, H2, AP had the same CSS and property, yeah, and there was no need, and there was no other thing that was differentiating them. So you can all have all of them together as one selector, together combined. Then you can then have your property there. You understand? So that was what we did here. H1, comma H2P, and it still gives us the same. If you notice, it still gives us the same results. It still gives us the same results, all centered, right? So now let's check your code, submit and go to the next. Now they said you have styled three elements by writing CSS inside the style tags. This works, but since there will be many more styles, it is best to put all styles in a separate file and link to it. Right? So we have created a separate styles.css file for you and switch the editor view to that file. You can change between files with the tabs at the top. Start by writing the styles you have created into the style.css file and make sure you exclude the closing style tag. So I'm going to explain this to you here. So in CSS, I explained before yesterday that there's three types of styling. There's internal styling, inline styling, and external styling. What we did was internal styling, where we were writing our HTML and CSS here, right? So sorry, we write our CSS and CSS in one file. So as you can see, there's a style tag that makes HTML know that okay, this is going to be the styling. I will put our styles there. But now when you're doing external styling, now you link it in the head. Sorry, bless me. You link it in the head and then you put your styles here. But when you're putting the styles in the .css with the file that has the .css extension, you're not you're not going to you're not going to add the style tag again, right? So um so now, as I'm just going to explain show you how you link. uh Sorry, let me quickly do this. So yeah, so if you're going to link an external file, right, this is how you just do it. It's as simple as this. You just do link. Sorry, right, it's a uh, sorry, no, it's a self-closing tag. So yeah, and you have the so relative, then you have your style sheets, right? And sorry, and you have your href. So the href shows the location where this style.css is on your documents, right? So you have to put the location where the style.css is in your documents. So let's say if they're on the same directory, I can just do this. But if let's say I have like it's on a different directory, right? So you have to then find locate. You can either use a forward slash to find where you kept the file, this particular file as a CSS design, you understand? So that's how you link with the style styling. But now I think because we're using free code camp, they already have done this aspect for you. Sorry. They already have done this aspect for you. So they already created it and they have like the style.css here. Oh yes, so now I have to write the same thing I've written here, right? But I don't have the strength to write that, so I'll just copy this and I'll just paste it here. So if you notice here, I didn't put the style tag again, like the whole style tag thing. I didn't put the whole style tag here. I just put the main CSS codes here. That's how you work in the style.css file. But if you're working in an HTML file and writing a CSS, you have to put it inside the style tag. Don't forget that. So as you can see, congratulations, go to the next stage. So the next step says, now that you have the CSS in the style CSS file, go ahead and remove the style from here. So now let's remove this style here because our style now is now linked, from CSS, right? Once it's removed, the text will be centered and shift back. So now you notice there's an issue. So the text is going to return back because the reason why it's going to return back is because we have not linked it to that file that we created, right? So this HTML doesn't know that it's the CSS that it's supposed to read from, right? So now we have to make HTML know that it's supposed to read from the CSS, right? I think that's the next step of this code. So now it's going to tell you. So now you need to link the style.css file. So the styles will be applied again. Next, the self-closing link, right? Link elements in the head elements. Give it a rel attribute, value style sheets, and an href attribute, value style.css. As you can see, just like what we did before when I was showing you, right? So we have link. Oh, sorry. I was showing. So, and we have rel. I'm using a German keyboard, so my words have to like type some characters like 2 times to be sure that it's the word I'm typing. Yeah, so I'm really sorry about that. And so styles.css, right? And if you notice, after we did that, right, if I do a preview, automatically you see that this goes back to being in the center, as you can see. So now let's check your code. And we're correct. So now it says for the styling of a page to look similar on the mobile as it does on the desktop or laptop, you need to add a meta element with a special content attribute. Add the following within the head element. So I'm going to explain what viewport is to you later, right? I think it's way bigger, but this is just to make your distance maintain the same view, right, across different devices, whether you are on a mobile device or sorry, I'm coming. Uh, don't know what's wrong there. Yeah. So whether you're on a mobile device or tab or this thing, so this is going to help you maintain the same view, right? Or not, probably not maintain the same view, but look similar. You'll stand on mobile uh and on tab. So now let's go to the next one. Now it says the text is centered again, so the link to the CSS file is working. Add another style to the file that changes the background color property to brown for the body element. So now we have to create a body element, right? And we'll give it a background property. So a background color of what? Brown. So now you see the color changes. So let me do a preview for you. The brown background color has changed, as you can see here. So you see it. So you see what CSS is doing. So this now targeted the body. So this is for the whole body of the whole website, as you can see here. So now what next? Check your code and go to the next. So it said the brown background makes it hard to read text. So change the body text. So change the body elements background color to blurry woods so it comes colored, but so it has some color but are still be able to read it. So as you can see, it looks like the body color is as I said, brown is too thick a color, so we have to change it to browny wood. So I mean, this is how you change different colors. So you see the color changes. Let me preview. So you see now you see the color has changed back to a different color. You can test and you can try with different colors. You can try with red, and you can preview red. So that's how CSS is, right? It gives your website the feel the beauty it needs, you know. So check code. Let's go to the next stage. Now it says the div element is used mainly for design layout purposes. Unlike the other content elements, you have used so far, add a div element inside the body tag, right? Then move all the others elements inside the new div. So uh, we have the body tag here, right? So we have a div. If you don't know what a div is, please refer to the HTML class for what the div is, yeah? And yep. So now move every other element right inside the div and calculations. So this doesn't make any change. The div element doesn't have any effects, right? It's just an element that you use for design layouts. It's just for something like a building block. You just use to know, okay, but to be able to section, not section your site per se, but section your build, you know. So it's not going to section the site, but it's just going to give you a section in when you're building, you know. So it's like an arrangement block for you. So, and there you can even put some good designs that can. So it's just like when I'm doing a design for, let me give an example. Let me explain div for you better so you understand, because you're going to use div a lot in CSS, right? So see this, right? To do the design that like this now, I when I did color background color using the body tag, it affected every the whole screen, right? Everything inside the body element. So now imagine if I want to still make the background of this guy, right, blue or pink, different color. I could add a div tag inside here and put the background color of that div tag to be red, and it's going to affect this guy, right? Because it's inside a different class, a different tag, right? A different section. You understand? So that's how you use div tag, and that's how important it is. There are a lot of things you can do with it. It helps in a lot of manipulations with CSS, even with JavaScript. So it said ah they said add a div type selector. So div type selector, let's see that. And so the goal now is to make the div not take up the entire width of the page. The CSS width property is perfect for this. Create a new type selector div and give it a width of 300 pixels, right? And check the code. So we have given the div 300 pixels. So you see what happened here. So now, formerly this was in the center, right? This was the center of the whole screen, right? Maybe I should show my complete screen so you see. So formerly this was in the center of the complete screen, right? This was in the center of the complete screen before. Why this was set out from complete screen before, right? But as you can see, it's no longer on this guy here was in the center before, but as you can see, it's no longer on the center again. Why? Is because we put its content inside a div first, right? After putting a div, then we set the div size now to be not be completely full width, but to be like 300. So 300 can be like from here to here, which is here like this, right? And because we have done that now, so the content inside here now is now respecting the div, not the body, as you can see. So this div now holds this content. So now this content is respecting this div. The design, whatever design that you put for the div, is what it's respecting, right? So because let's see, let me show you something. If I say let's test something, right? Because the purpose of writing codes is to be able to explore, isn't it? So let's test something. Let me see. If we put a background color for the div, what will happen? Let's see. Let's put the background color. Ah, So let's say red. So now, are you seeing it? I change the background color to red and see how it shows. Uh, I think it's better. I think it's better. Yeah, so you see, I changed the background color to red and see how it shows. Are you seeing it? So now, to show you that the div would always respect, the content respects what the div is inside. All right. So now, because this is going to throw up an error, take it out. So let's check our code and move to the next one. We have to rush. So now in your style sheets, comments out the line containing the background color, and uh, so you can see the effects of only the styling div elements. This will make the background color white again. So this is how you comment in CSS, right? They just want to show you how to comment in CSS. So now let's comment out our current code. So this guy is the one commenting. I just don't have strength. I'm a lazy developer, so I'm just going to do this, right? And put it back like this. So now I've commented my CSS code, and you see this go back to white, right? And let's check submit and go. So now I say now use the existing div selector to set the background color of the div, right? So now I could just go here and do this and check your code. And now I said now it's easy to see that the text is centered inside the div, right? Inside div elements. Currently the width of the div elements is specified in pixels, which is change the width to the value of its 80%. I'll explain what 80% does to you now. So 80% is like almost 100% of the screen, right? So that's basically what 80% is. I think it's a straightforward explanation. So you see that so when we say 80% now, you see that this is from here to here is 80% of your entire screen. Then here to here is 20%. So when you put the width to 80%, it takes more than if I put 50%, it will be half. Are you seeing it? Right, it takes half of the screen. But let's say that 80% as they said. Alright, so now check our code. And they said now you want to enter the center div horizontally, so you can do this by you want to center the div horizontally, so you can do this by setting this margin left and margin right properties to auto. So if I want to make this move to the center, like to be in the middle, I just have to set margin right and margin left to auto. So when I set it to auto, so CSS gives it a centering property. And most of all these things, your browsers understand them, and it works perfectly with most of the modern days browsers. Although sometimes some commands when you write them, because of the browser you're using is old, right? It might not really work. So uh, you always have to find alternative for things like that. So if you notice, this has gone to the middle, right? It enters the div, which is this between in the mid body elements, right? So now you see, because I should have explained because normally margin left is supposed to shift this to somewhere like inside to the right. Margin right shifts this to the left, right? But now that you're setting to auto, it's now going to put both of them together and have it in the middle. It's like you pushing and I'm pushing and we're not moving in one in the middle. You understand? So now they said okay, so change the existing div selector into a class selector by replacing div with a class named menu. So this is another simple thing to do. So I just have to create a new div and call it dot menu. So it's okay. Sorry, I just have to change this to dot menu. right? So this is class selector. There's type selector, there's ID selector, and there's class selector. So class selector starts with a full stop before the name of the class, right? And I'll show you how you call the class in HTML. So you've noticed that I did that, right? Everything here moved, the color, everything changed, right? It's only centered in the middle. And why is it centered in the middle? Because of I have said that H1, H2, and P should be centered in the middle. That's why it's centered in the middle, right? So now to be able to change this now, we have to go to the HTML and we have to go and call this class, right? Put the div in that class. So on our div element, I have to do something like this equals to now we'll call it menu. That was the menu that we named there, right? As you see. So if you check our code, it's correct. So now we'll submit. And now I said delete the comments and its content inside the body type selector. Now add background image. This. So I'll just copy the URL here, right? And I'll just type this and image, right? And we're supposed to give it what value? This value. So now this adds, oops. So this URL helps fetch data from a URL, and now we're putting an image inside the URL. So now the image now calls from the web, right, and is now passed into background image. You can pass it from a local host, from a local image in your local system, in your system, right, or in your file system by just either doing like dot dot slash dot dot slash the image name or the file name. You understand? So now we delete this and we check your code. Good. All is good. So now submit and go to the next challenge. So the next challenge we have, it's already looking good. Time to start adding some menu items. Add an empty article element under the coffee handling, under the coffee heading. It will contain a flavor and a price for each coffee you currently offer. So let's do this article, right? So what you've learned today, you've learned how to link, right? How to link CSS together. You've learned class type class styling as class selector in CSS styling, right? And you've learned how to link your HTML and CSS like to the first HTML CSS file and using the URL selector too. So I think like I said, I don't plan wasting too much of your time, and that'll be the end of this class. So after we just do this, we end the class. So I'm not gonna put the content here right now. So well, yeah, just submit and go. But now you see how it looks like. And they said we have other things we're going to add here, but I'm not adding it now. So this is going to be the end of the class. Tomorrow we see same time, same same time tomorrow, same venue. So have a good one. You can practice ahead of me if you want. You can use the free code camp account and register with free code camp and practice ahead of me. So this is the pace at which I'm going to so I can drop more content and people can stimulate more. So thank you for joining today's class. Bye bye.